Good morning. We're going to make some coffee and then we're going to sit down and talk about our first month here. For the entire month of January, we're going to go ahead and just kind of take a day and review back over our travels for the last month. Kind of the destinations we've been to, some of the things that we enjoyed and got to see, and just kind of an overview and to share some of the exciting things we got to cover.
Right. So first of all, welcome to the channel, and we're glad that you're joining us today. So let's jump in and share with everybody what we've been up to.
So, we landed in Melbourne Airport, and we did go ahead and shuttle over to the city area, and we stayed really close to the central business district. We were south of the Yarra River.
Yarra. Mm-hmm.
And what was kind of neat around that time was that when we started to fly out, it was on the 30th of December. And so the 31st really didn't quite exist to us, so we didn't really get to do that New Year's countdown. And we arrived, and hey, it was already the 1st, because we literally flew and traveled about over 8,000 miles.
Which, losing a whole day, I mean, that was a little weird.
Yeah, it was
honestly.
Odd.
So, yeah.
But what was neat is when we arrived, as tired as we were, we wanted to go do the exploring. So we went outside the hotel, started walking along the river, and the little, I think it's the Evan Walker Bridge that crosses over to Flinders Station. It still had some of the holiday decorations,
right.
and of course, everybody was running around saying Happy New Year. But that was quite the first view, that we had. And
which, again, it was New Year's in Melbourne, Australia, but back home in the States, it was still December 31st.
Yeah, still hadn't even happened. So, we really did get caught in the middle of the time. So Melbourne was an interesting city for us, though, and a good start. we have not really traveled to a lot of large cities, and so we were a little hesitant of coming to a larger city like that. And of course, I know there are larger cities, but I think this was a great first stop.
It was a great first stop.
And
Also just coming in to Australia from the airport.
Yeah.
Our first experience of really flying into another country, it was very smooth.
Yeah.
As far as customs and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
And of course, so it also helps too that Australia speaks English and we speak English, so we didn't have that shock of a foreign language that we're not exactly sure what it is somebody's saying or not saying. So
yeah. Well, we're actually going to break out into a second video because there are a lot of things like that we'd like to discuss. How was the travel in? What went well, what didn't. But for this video, I think we're going to focus and just kind of go down our itinerary of the things that we, done, the places we visited, maybe get you a little excited about some of these places. So, what was one of your favorite early places that we did in Melbourne?
For me, we went to the Parliament House. And I know that probably sounds weird, but it really was just seeing the architecture, just knowing that this is something that Melbourne actually uses whenever they are determining their laws and looking at, again, just the architecture and that. And also, if I can have a second one, was the library that we went to. Melbourne has a library that they established, and oh my goodness, it was large. It was set up for the people because one of the whole history of the library was that they wanted people who didn't have access to books to be able to come in, read, and learn. That is Melbourne's whole seems to be the thing that they really encourage learning, and it shows with the library. I mean, it was just absolutely gorgeous, and that was really fun.
Yeah. So the Parliament House, I know when we started going we just started walking. We were a little bit nervous about using the trams, and we had several folks from the city that just stopped and think for a second, and then they were like, okay, and then they were trying to get us the easiest route. And we loved walking the city. It was a nice area to do. I will say, if you go to the Parliament House, it is one of those areas, bring your passport. They only do scheduled visits throughout the day. And it's not something you generally have to reserve, but you do have to be there at a specific time, and other things can't be going on there. So
they can't be in session during that time, of course.
But now we were kind of surprised that pretty much they were like, yeah, take all the video and pictures you want. So we kind of wish we had recorded almost the whole tour. That was such a memorable tour. Their history kind of started with Melbourne actually finding gold.
Right.
And of course, I'll show you a picture of us when we went to the Treasury, and we're standing next to, it's a replica, but still, that's crazy.
The size of a nugget that they pulled out. Wow.
They said they just had so much gold that they just started painting it on the walls. And so to hear on this tour some of the facts and history of this Parliament House was just absolutely amazing.
It was amazing.
They said if you look around how they've painted it on the walls, I don't remember the exact number. I thought they said like $12 million is what it was worth in today's dollars. So, and it is pretty. There's gold everywhere on it. So, that has the history, has the politics and things like that. It just depends on what you like. And the law, But the building itself, just extraordinary.
Absolutely gorgeous. Absolutely. And that was unexpected. I was
Yeah.
not expecting that. So that was a wow moment for me.
Well, and since we're in that area, you did mention the library. That was beautiful. We did kind of luck in on that. You should schedule a tour.
Yes, ahead of time. So
But the fellow that was there, he said, "Well, I think I've got a couple that's not going to show up this morning. He just hang out over here." And so we kind of sit down and just kind of waited for a little bit, and he was kind of like, "Come on." So we were kind of waiting for the okay, but no, he was ready to go take off on the tour.
he was ready to go. And that's the thing too, the friendly people. I mean, everybody has really been throughout Australia, not just in Melbourne, but throughout Australia. The people here have really been just super friendly.
Yeah. There are a lot of just dedicated spaces, the whole history of some of the murals that were painted. Again, I don't want to say the specifics. I'm afraid I'll misspeak on part of that, but it was a fellow that went to war, I think lost his arm. He was right-handed, painted all of these murals by his left hand.
Yes.
And I think
they were, wow. They were really nice.
Yeah, I mean, they were very good.
Very nice.
I couldn't do that with my left hand.
No, I couldn't do it with my right hand.
But it was a multi-year project, and not that wasn't just the only one that was in that area. There was many different ones, and I think we got to see maybe 2 different locations. So that was worth seeing alone. There was a section in part of the great room that they showed. There was some old historical books that they said these were like really some of the first ones, and they prominently displayed them out on the balcony. And they said, I mean, you can check them out, but they don't really allow the public to get up there just because of architectural, the structure on it to make sure it was stable and things like that. But some of the original books, it was in the library.
I mean, that was amazing.
And they have millions, but they trade them off with different localities around Victoria and switch up the books. But if you want one, you can ask and they'll bring it to that location. Right. So I would say that tour probably took us 2 hours, maybe.
Yeah, maybe an hour and a half.
Yeah. So there's a lot there to see, and we highly recommend the tour because otherwise.
And it was after the tour that we went sort of exploring too, because they allow it.
Yeah.
So,
but you don't know exactly what you're looking for unless you know a little of the history previous. So that gave us a little insight, and there was some nice paintings that's in the way they've joined the building together that told some of the history of, I think it's the mayor and governor of the area.
And then you go look at the streets, and it's like, oh, the street is named after that person. So it really is rich history, beautiful architecture. I mean, just amazing.
But what we were also surprised with is when we got to the Parliament House, right next to it was the old treasury, and we mentioned the gold. They had so much gold, they were trying to figure out a place to store it, so that old treasury's there. There's no gold in it, but actually you can go in for free, go into the basement, and you can see the vaults that they had for them. And they've actually got some nice cultural displays that you can go through, a lot of history there. So the building itself, just wonderful to go through. Straight across the street, you had the W Hotel. Right. It's actually shaped like a W. So the architecture on that's really interesting. And
the Windsor. It was the Windsor.
What Windsor is it?
Windsor.
Yeah, yeah.
The Windsor.
And then you had the Princess Theater, and that was interesting. It's got all these gold figures and things that's out there on the architecture of the building itself. And they actually do still have activities and plays, I think, that's there, because when we walked by, they had advertisements for some events that they were having. So you could spend quite a bit of time just right there in that little section looking at all those, and we did.
Right.
And some of the garden areas. And I'm going to tell you, we've never really had a lot of high hopes for seeing a lot of really nice green spaces in a city. Most of the time, they're pretty small. These are impressive.
Right.
And not only do they have a good collection of plants, I mean, that was really neat. And they've tried to do it in the different environments. Like they've created, there's one there that they had like it's shaped like a volcano, so you can walk up and around it, and it does like a desert variety with all the very rare and selected plants. So they really designed it specific to house these plants. And at lunchtime, it was really neat because all of a sudden the park just fills up. All of the folks that are there, they take their lunch break, they come out, they sit on the lawn, they have their lunch and go back. So we enjoyed that too. Well, what's another thing that you like there?
Well, that's true. The gardens. I mean, there's so much about Melbourne, which was unexpected.
Yeah.
Like you said, we stayed in the Central Business District, which a lot of people will call it the CBD.
Yeah.
And they have a free zone, which if you
That
have
was
followed
nice.
us in our videos, you know that we like anything that's free.
Yeah.
And so you could travel on the tram in this free zone.
Yeah.
And it was free. You didn't have to.
It's like a little square,
pay.
and it's simple because they either go left and right or up and down. So you didn't really have to figure out what bus number. You just kind of jumped on and went over a couple blocks. And sometimes you're like, I didn't go that far, but boy, your legs felt it after you're walking all day.
Walking a while, so.
And I will tell you the one thing I loved about them, they're all electric. And there are a lot of electric cars that's in this area. So the street noise is really reduced. And I don't do really well with loud noises. They bother me. So sometimes I even wear the high fidelity earbuds so that I can hear voices but not the background noise. But this wasn't bad.
Right.
I mean, it was a quiet city.
Right. And it was clean.
Yeah.
Too, which, in some cities, even in the U.S., you're not going to have both of that.
Yeah. And they even done something on those trams that you could actually hear when they announce something. And normally when I'm on there, I'm just like, well, best of luck. Hope I get the right stop. But this was nice. We loved the trams.
Yeah. So.
Churches.
Oh.
If you like churches,
yes.
there are a good dozen, and these are just extravagant. And we've got photos. We'll try to show you a few screenshots here of them. But you can go in and tour most of them. Some have services, so you have to time that.
Right.
And a lot of them even have, if you've enjoyed it, little kiosk at the door where you can tap your phone and even do a quick donation. And they'll have volunteers that are there to kind of, tell you what to do or not to do and things like that, or, if it's okay to come in. And
you're more than welcome, of course, to join any of the services.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So yeah, but I mean, yeah, their churches are, wow.
Beautiful. and pretty much any denomination you can think of.
Right.
But just to see that rich history. And so I think a couple of those, we did go to the old prison, or they called it the old jail.
Right.
With a G-A-O-L, I think is how you spell it, jail. But they talked about the blue stone that they used for building. And what was interesting is we're pretty sure that was in maybe some of these churches, if not some of the other buildings that were there in Melbourne. So there's a lot of history to just the building supplies and the things that was sourced in this area. But, one of the things I really enjoyed is normally when you're in a city, everything's like blocks, square buildings. Oh my goodness, the skyline on this. They have so many unique buildings, just absolutely beautiful. So I really enjoyed just looking at some of the big skyscraper buildings. They said that they had a number of well-known architects that came from Europe, and obviously they had all this gold, so they hired some of the best to come in and design these buildings. So just to see them, and they were restoring a couple when we were there. So that was kind of neat. I'd love to see what that looks like when they finished over some of that. But the art galleries.
Yeah.
I'm not even a big fan of a lot of art galleries, but they have, maybe 5 different or more ones that you can do for free.
Right.
They have everything from Aboriginal to modern art to, we seen some that was like, this is what Melbourne looked like, you know, in its first days and how it developed. And so there was that history, just going to enjoy some of the artwork.
Right.
You could literally spend days doing that.
Right.
The War Memorial.
Yes, the
Now,
Shrine of Remembrance, I think is what it's called.
yeah, that was, to me, that was one of the most memorable because at our hotel we had a sky deck view that you could do, and I think it was still fairly nominal, but it cost a few dollars. And but we just wanted to go check this out. That's not something we always go looking for, but you know, there's a lot of history there.
And it was close to the Queen's Garden.
Yeah, in the garden area, which we were already, we went to the conservatory and checked that out, and we just happened to wander over to check this out, and it ended up being, one, just a wonderful display with a lot of artifacts that they had there, but you can go up on top and you have one of the best city views for free.
And you could walk around.
All the way around the top.
And it was, it was, and we'll put a picture of that.
Yeah, so I think those are some of the big highlights that we had.
You want to talk about the beaches, any?
Yeah, so let's talk about, and we kind of decided not to release a video on that right away. Matter of fact, we weren't for sure we were even going to do YouTube. That's the reason we want to do a second channel or a second video on this, and we'll just kind of talk through some of that later. But we want to keep this about the destinations. We actually enjoyed, they had opened up a new section of the Southland Cross Station in Melbourne, and so it was a celebration in which they allowed on the weekends. Yeah.
And it was for the month of January.
January, when we were here, and they allowed you to go ahead and for free use pretty much any of the trains, trams, buses.
Anywhere within the Victoria state.
Yeah, so we planned 4 different days on the Saturdays and Sundays. One we went out to was Frankston. And Frankston, it was one of those little coastal areas. Maybe it took us about an hour to get out there. So nice little ride. We enjoyed the track, just kind of getting to see a little of the residential areas and things like that along the way. And they have this beautiful pier that's there at Frankston that you can walk out on. There was a lot of people out there fishing, and they had some really unique artwork along the coast. So that was pretty memorable to see some of that. And then we actually just did a nice little walk along the beachfront. Came back, we got our first toasty. So that was kind of fun, and we just got that, and I think that may have been the day we stopped and got some of our first super fresh macadamia nuts and came back, so that was fun. The next day, we actually took another trip and went out to Sangringham. And so what about Sangringham did you like?
Well, it was not, I mean, the beach was nice. Again, it was a little windy when we were there.
Yeah, it was.
But again, you know, it was, I think, very cold back home and possibly snowing. So just to be able to be out on a beach, you know, was pretty cool.
But not all of it was beaches. Some of it was like these little cliff sides. They call it the red clay cliffs.
And wasn't the houses like up on the hill?
Yeah, just
and that was just
beautiful houses. Neat. And we you know, obviously we have to be nosy. There were a few realtor listings, you know, for some of these. Oh gosh, you know, coastal living. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah.
Not something we could afford, but it was interesting to see these little houses just overlooking the coast. It was a great walk, and it says it's overlooking the Port Phillip Bay.
Right.
And this one was an interesting one too, because they actually have a sunken, I think it was a cargo ship or something. It's still right there in the water, so like you can go out and see it. There were people
who were like going around with their boat or
paragliding,
had what do you call it? One of those jet skis.
Yeah.
Not the jet skis,
Well,
but the
little of all of that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And they were going around. I mean, so that was cool
Yeah.
to see that.
So that was fun. I think on that one we actually just stopped and got some fresh fruit or something for the
Right.
day and made the trip back. But it was a good day trip out for that. Williamstown.
Right. We went out the next weekend
Yeah.
to Williamstown, and that was a really pretty area.
Yeah, they say you got to go to the Gym Pier, and we did. We walked all the way over, walked up along the coastline, walked to the Gym Pier. That one actually has a World War II era naval ship, and you can do a tour,
Right.
but you didn't have to. When we came by, there were several folks up on the deck messing around and just having a good time. But you could walk, and it kind of shows you how smaller these ships were, 50, 60 years ago and things. But as far as that goes, you had a really good view of the ship right there off the dock, standing 10 feet away. And they actually have some folks, veterans, that I think were actually stationed there to, if you had questions, or kind of show you around, share some stories with you, stuff like that.
It was a really quaint little area. And I mean, I loved the little trail. Well, I guess it's not really a boardwalk because it wasn't wood, but I mean, it was like a whole walking area.
Yeah, I had a really nice walking area. Yeah.
Around it. And I mean, they had an area to where you could actually let your dogs off of a leash. I mean, with a beach view, it was absolutely pretty, just very neat.
And then they had some kind of it's kind of like a lighthouse structure that was there, but it served some other things. We'll insert a couple little clips of that here on that. And then, of course, we went downtown area around the pier, and there is a couple really nice historical buildings. There was a lot of people just out and about, out in the park area right outside there.
Just enjoying the outside. The weather was nice. I mean, it was just really, really a neat time.
Yeah, and there was a lot of nice little shops there if you want to stop and get some gelato or things like that.
Okay.
The last place we went was Belgrave, and this ended up being an interesting thing. We had used AI to try to look at the area. We were actually on our way out to the Dandenong National Forest, and I'd seen a number of nice hiking trails that was there, and we wanted to kind of check that out. So we get off the train, and I don't see anything. And AI says, no, it's a 5-minute walk straight across the street. And I'm like, well, I can see straight across the street. I don't see anything. So I started to kind of check back with AI, and AI was like, no, it's the Puffing Billy. Is straight across the street. And technically, the Dandenong Forest is there, but if you want to get to the kind of the entryway where the trailheads are, it's like, I don't know. It was well over an hour and a half walk or something. We're like, oh boy.
And we were, and we could have hopped a bus to get on, but I don't know. We just were like,
Yeah, so we just kind of hung around the town area, which actually ended up being a really unique town.
Really nice meat pie that we got.
There was a bakery. I don't even remember the exact name. I think it was Black Lightning or something like that.
Yeah, we'll verify it.
Oh my goodness. That was, and that was one of the first ones. Instead of getting a meat pie, actually, it was a vegetarian or vegan,
it was a
maybe
veggie pie.
Chickpea curry, I think is what it was.
It was very good.
Well, so we went in to order, and they asked us, if we wanted it to go, and we thought, well, we might just sit out on the storefront. They had some tables there and they had some antique cars that were there, and they bring us out these super hot, fresh pies. And so we're sitting out here enjoying the pies and just kind of looking at some of the cars, and price wise, wow. So a great place to stop. And we just seen traffic constantly coming in to grab a specialty coffee or something like that. So it was kind of warming on us.
It was a nice little town. I
Yeah.
mean, and close to the city.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and you don't think about a nice little small area
Yeah.
whenever you're in Melbourne.
I will say the train
So,
ride out there was beautiful.
It was really
You got to
pretty.
see some rolling hills. They had, I think they're ash trees. And that's why we actually wanted to go out there hiking. So we walked through the town, and I don't know about you, but I love the theater. There's a lot of history. There's this theater that's there, and it was still live showing shows. Neat little theater area. And of course, you know, one of the things that catches my attention was they had a nice community garden. It was like, pick what you need. And I was like, oh, we have to. I love.
We didn't pick anything.
No, we didn't
but
pick
we did
anything.
have to go look and see.
No, I was
in
like,
their
do they grow
community
different tomatoes or
Right.
different lettuces? What do they have? So we actually spent quite a while just going back to this little community garden to see what all they had.
I mean, it was just such a small area, but so nice
Yeah.
for that. If you love, you know, if you wanted to get away from the city, that was a good place to go.
Yeah. Well, so that kind of brings us back to Melbourne, and we ended up kind of just wrapping up the remaining of our time touring a lot of different buildings. We went out to part of the Docklands, I think is what it's called. Got to see a lot of the fancy yachts, residential areas, theaters. Gosh, the theaters are quite memorable.
Right. They had a whole street, or a lot of them were on this
They were
one
close.
street. And
Yeah.
they were, lots of different live musicals.
Yeah, so there were at least 4 that I'm aware of, and just a couple of them had been renovated because I think the university had repurposed the space somewhat. But you could still see the fancy entrances, and we got a few clips of those that we may try to see if we can work them into this and share. But as far as that goes, we enjoyed actually just going to some of the shops, and that's me saying that. I don't really like shopping.
Right, he's not a shopper.
We ran into just by chance, they called them arcades. And it was one of the original historical arcades, which just means it was a set of shops that was there. Oh, fancy shops.
Right.
But just beautiful.
The architecture, again, if you're into that, I mean, it really was.
Mosaic tiling and things. And I've got a clip that I'll try to add right here that was about some of the pastries that they had. They had an original place with, I think the stool was still there for haircuts. Just neat little things like that.
Now, if you want to go shopping and you don't really care about the architecture, they did have a crazy shopping area that, I mean...
Yeah, and we've heard that this was not the largest one.
Right.
We haven't confirmed that, but some locals told us. Because we commented on, it was the Meyer shop. It's just one store, and you get in. This thing
levels.
It's 8 levels. Like, oh my gosh, you're talking about getting some good steps in and shopping. But they have about everything you can possibly think of in this store.
Right.
And that was just one store.
Yeah, we had never seen anything like that before. And if you have, then leave a comment below, but to us, that was sort of surprising. And again, we're not big shoppers, but to us, just seeing that was pretty wild.
Well, and I know you probably got more things to add, but I'm going to jump in here on another one.
Okay. The
farmers market area, Queen Victoria.
Right, yes.
Oh, wow. So, we wanted to go in and see what fresh fruits and vegetables they had, because we're thinking, well, we may just get some of that and take it back for supper. And it's just shop after shop. And we noticed there's a section over here that says fresh fruits and vegetables, and we go over there and we found a lot of nice prepared, like Greek dishes and things. And finally we did find they had it in the open air market in the back, and just aisles and aisles of fresh produce. Couple neat things we got to bring home and try. You'll notice in one of the video clips that we we actually shared, I think it was actually in our finance one instead of a
Right.
vlog, that we had tried some of the fresh fruits and stuff from that area, the couple that we couldn't source around our groceries. So that was quite a memorable
Right,
thing.
just to see that. There's so many things that we could say, and we're not
Yeah,
covering everything, but if you have been to Melbourne and there's something that really, stood out to you, maybe other than what we have, just leave a comment below, and we'd love to hear about it.
yeah. So anything else pop into your mind about Melbourne? I know we're leaving a lot out,
There
but we
is,
just wanted to kind of hit some of the
yeah,
highlights.
there is so many things that, yeah, it was just a really pretty
Yeah.
city, and that's for me to say that is
Each day we
pretty
would
wild.
try to put, I don't know, 5 or 6 things on our list. I try to somewhat put them in a little bit of a walking order. So, because we were already walking, I'd say 8 to 10 miles a day, and so my legs would get tired. So it was a welcome thing to kind of jump on one of those trams just for a minute, rest our legs, and then we just had to keep going because we wanted to explore. So that was a fun time. We spent almost 2 weeks there in Melbourne.
Right,
And then we went on to Lakes Entrance.
right.
So what are the things that, what's your first thing that you think about Lakes Entrance?
It was just, I know I keep saying this, but it was so pretty. I mean, it had a really nice beach. It had an what do you call it?
Coastal.
Coastal for the boats. I mean, it was just,
Yeah, it's like they sectioned off. I mean, I don't think they made it.
right.
There is a portion that they made that has a channel for boats, but and really that's what they call the Lakes Entrance.
Right.
But honestly, it has like this intercoastal part, really calm waters. They had a really fun thing there for kids that they could get up on
They had
this trampoline.
inflatables and
Yeah.
slides that you could slide into the water. And I mean,
It was like a whole park on the water.
yes. And the water, it's not like it was the ocean water. It was in the lake area. So it was very calm.
Yeah.
But yeah. And we saw black swans, a real black swan. I mean, wow.
Yeah, we got to see a lot of neat wildlife in that area. But yeah, you got the coastal, and then you go right over to the beach. One of the most beautiful beaches
It
I've
was
seen.
really nice.
And there was a volleyball tournament going on.
When we went there, and that was,
Yeah.
I mean, that was just, it was so, I mean, it wasn't anything like some of the beaches that you might see
Yeah.
in the States, where they are just super crazy populated. It was just, it was a really nice area. And
Yeah, but we just couldn't sit out there. Well, I think the UV index was like 11, and the breeze felt wonderful, and just watching people play volleyball and stuff. But no, there was too much to explore.
Right. And they had the overlook, or the, what do you call it? The lookout that we went to. Which
Yeah, so there's a
neat.
really nice walking trail that's still right there at the edge of the water, and a lot of really unique plants. So we get out there and we meet a couple from Sydney.
Oh, yeah.
And, we talked to all these people from Melbourne. And so that was kind of interesting that, they give us all this insight. You got to go see this. You got to go see that. And I didn't even mention that. One of the first couples we meet in Melbourne is we were over in the Victoria Gardens, and we were looking at the statues, and some people had brought flowers and put there around the statue, and they wanted to come ask us if that was like a memorial or what that was for. And well, we were just first there too, so we didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know.
But I asked them, I said, well, you don't seem to have an Australian accent. They're from Canada. So what about we travel over 8,000 miles across the world, and our first couple that we meet is from Canada. but that's the way it was. Even when we were in doing the tour for Parliament, it was kind of funny because there was a person in our group that went with us. They had a I Love Sydney shirt on, so it was kind of funny going to the Melbourne. But yes, we meet a couple from Sydney, and we're just kind of walking along this trail, and they start telling us, hey, do you know that you can go just around the corner here and you can see seals?
Seals.
We're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And
seals.
so amazing. I mean,
And not just seals, we also saw dolphins.
dolphins.
Yeah.
And just this whole on the jetty, a flock of,
Right.
which I thought at first, I've seen too many of the National Geographic things, I guess, but I thought it was the seals, but just
Lots of
some kind of blackbird that was
bird.
there. But so we actually stood out on this corner for hours just watching these seals and
Yes.
dolphins. And
I mean, and they're just right up there, and you can, yeah. That was amazing.
yeah, there was some just came feet away from us because obviously they were naturally
Right.
curious what we were doing.
Right.
I seen a little boy out there, and he even picked up on the jellyfish. Didn't seem to bother him, but I was like, "Don't those sting?" Nah, he's just carrying it around.
Not something I want to do, but okay.
But yes, the lake's entrance was a lot with the views. There is a great, I mean, probably one of the most memorable things for us is we walked down to, I think it's the Burke Island or something like that. I don't remember the exact name of the island, but there's a walking path that kind of gradually goes up the hill, and you get a really nice down look on lake's entrance. And that view is fabulous. There is a way you can drive up there, but that's one I'm not going to forget anytime soon.
I mean, Lake Entrance it's not as big as Melbourne by no means. But
No, it's a smaller town. No high rises. I don't
Right.
think I've seen anything that was even 2-story, really.
Right. But if it's, if you have some time, a couple days, even a week or so, go check it out.
It does kind of come alive a little bit at nighttime. They've got a little area that's got a Ferris wheel and kind of like little carnival events and some kind of crazy. I don't know what that ride was. The kids loved it.
Yeah.
wasn't going to be my thing, but anyway, I loved watching them where it was lit up at night. That was really neat, and the sunsets there were just amazing. Well, so we could go on about that for forever.
I know. It was really neat.
One of the next spaces or locations that we went to was Malakuta.
Right.
So now we did have a little bit of a trouble getting to Malakuta, to be honest.
Right.
And we had some locals told us, "Hey, do you know that you came to one of the most remote places, populated places in Australia?" And we're like, "No, we did not know that." It was coastal.
It was coastal, and that's what we were looking at.
Yeah, where we're at, most of the coastal places, even the small places, are not really small. But we ended up coming in on a public bus, and we thought there was a connector. We had an Uber scheduled, and the bus was a little bit late. And so we tried to reschedule that, and by then nobody was really picking it up. Thank goodness there was a few locals around, and they were like, an Uber out here, that's not probably going to happen. So we ended up having a local that actually took us the rest of the way down into town.
And we'll just go ahead and give a shout out to Kim. Thank you, Kim.
Yeah.
You were literally a lifesaver for us.
Yeah,
and,
we mentioned in our video about Lake's Entrance.
Yes.
But yeah, that's going to be memorable for us. But really, and again, I think this is for the other video that we're going to make about our first experiences here. But it really is about the people.
It really is, and again, they're so nice.
Yeah, but we have to. I mean, we really came to that conclusion early on. We were really coming to talk to the people.
Right.
But these towns are beautiful, and so if you're looking for a destination, that's why we were a little excited to kind of share some of this with you. So Malakuta, the little town area, to be honest, is maybe two like family-owned motels. There's a lovely bakery there. We hit that up almost every day.
Yes, lots of good
sourdough and other things. We got a couple of the pastry pies.
Right, that was good.
Yeah, and so we really enjoyed those. But that area, normally when you go to coastal areas, you see the $1 million houses, you see the yachts. None of that was here.
Right.
There was a really, really large campground.
Right. A lot of RVs there. And they really did a nice job at accommodating them. I mean, they looked really nice.
The one thing we quickly learned once we got to Malakuta, the bus drivers. they know everybody and everything. So, yeah, we actually probably spent 30, 40 minutes talking to one of the bus drivers. And he was sharing with us, he said, you know, unlike a lot of other areas, this is a generational area. They came here when they were a kid, and they're bringing their kids here, or their kids' kids. And that is exactly what we seen.
Yeah.
Those campgrounds were full, but it's just like, it was a community thing that people just really gathered around. They were having a good time. Nobody seemed to matter that it was really a lot of folks there.
Right.
There was fishing, biking, just a lot of walking, coastal activities. It was quiet.
Yes.
Now, we actually stayed in an area that had an attached, I think, an after hour thing, for people to hang out and get some food and drinks and play a little music, just kind of unwind for the day. And even at that, I mean, probably 11 o'clock, it was just super quiet. It was so quiet.
It was it was really nice.
Yeah.
But tell them about the fun thing that we saw that was totally unexpected.
Well, so we had two things there that we wanted to go see because the bus driver had told us. You need to go see the koalas, and you need to go see the kangaroos. So we started asking around the koalas, and they're like, you don't have to go far for either one of these. They were like, just go over in the campground. Sure enough, we're walking through the campground. We're taking some beautiful photos, checking out the eucalyptus trees. Here's koalas sitting up in the tree. So we actually stood out there for hours talking to folks, taking some pictures. It's just, they're cute.
They are cute. And every now and then it would raise its head like, you're bothering me. Go away. I'm trying to sleep. So
I was just sitting there thinking, how do they sit there and sleep way up in that tree? I'd fall out for sure. But
that was neat.
And then we walked around to, I think it was called Bastion Point.
Right, Bastion Point.
It's around the golf course area. So you didn't have to go far.
And there was another beach, too, besides Bastion Point. It was called Tip Beach.
Yeah, well, there's 4 or 5 section beaches there.
Just absolutely so nice.
I know we just keep saying beautiful, but I'm going to say, imagery-wise, that has to be one of the most beautiful beaches I have ever seen.
Yes.
It was just how vast it was. It was felt like a bay area. There was some people out there trying to surf and things. Couple jetties. The water was just coming over. Matter of fact, I kind of walked out there to get a photo of it. And one came up, literally, it doesn't even do it justice on the video, but it came up over my head. Not like it was knocking me off, but
it was enough that it scared you.
Yeah, and so I will say, just walking around, seeing the rock formations in that area, but then right above it, literally, is the golf course, hole 12. We didn't even have to go far.
Right.
And this was interesting because there we had a couple from Melbourne that we ran into, kept running into them. And so
while we were there,
I think they were excited because we were so excited.
I know.
And so they'd kind of keep checking on us. And they were then like, hey, come over here. Here's where they are. And so we stood over there and got some pictures, talked with them for a while. Hundreds of them just hanging out on the golf course.
And that was totally unexpected, but so cool.
To us, it was different. Well, we'd never seen a kangaroo.
Maybe to locals, of course, they're locals. They just call them roos, But for us, it was like, oh my goodness, wow, this is so neat. Just so neat and so fun to see. And of course, they were fun and neat as long as they were doing their own thing. But I think they noticed us and we noticed some of the bigger ones starting to stand up.
Start standing up, staring us down a little bit.
And it was like, it's time to go. It's time to go. So,
but nothing happened.
Nothing happened. We were a safe distance, know.
We stayed off the golf course, too. We didn't get on there. So we had some beautiful Bay Area and coastal walks. It was
beautiful. Just really neat.
And there were a few just houses that we walked up and down some of the residential streets, some beautiful flowers and stuff I'd never seen. I guess just being more summertime, a lot of that stuff was in bloom. So it was beautiful to walk and see all that. We did everything on foot. that was probably one of our most enjoyable areas that we had well, I don't know. We liked them all, really. It was just different. We wanted some bigger places and smaller places, but that one seemed like one of the more family-oriented ones.
Right.
Okay, and then, so after that, we took off to Eden.
Right.
Honestly, when we booked this, I think we were trying to go 4 to 5 hours of travel at a time. We're starting in Melbourne, just kind of working our way up the coast, and we're doing this for about 4 months. So far, we're just talking about our January travel. I don't think I even realized when we got to Eden kind of the history of this area. I mean, we wanted to just have, again, some different sized towns. We ended up finding out this is a big cruise area. To be honest, we kind of felt like we were locals until that cruise ship came in. We're like, wow, all these people. But it is a neat area that's got a lot of history there with whaling.
Right. Now, we missed seeing the whales.
Yeah, just by weeks, apparently.
Well, yeah, I think the last time maybe that they show up is around mid-November-ish.
Yeah, one of the bus drivers told us all about it,
Yeah.
by the way.
So, yeah, talk to your bus driver. Talk to the locals anytime you're traveling.
They know.
They know. They know.
So we did get to at least go down around the museum. That walk area, it's nice. You can go down next to the wharf where they have the cruise ships coming in. You've got the coastal views, easily walkable, just generally hundreds of meters apart. And you can go out and look over the bay areas, which are just beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful.
And then we kind of worked our way back and spent a couple other days walking in and around town area. There's a couple of neat little churches and park areas. There's a campground there that's pretty big. A lot of people came down to that oversits a lagoon. And so we did get down and got a few little pictures of the lagoon. But aside from all of the history there is with the whales, and I think that's really what a lot of people come there for, particularly the cruises, is to see the killer whales and all that. But there is a section there, and I can't remember the name of the beach. I'll put it on the screen. But we walked down this beach, and we're just like, wow, this is yet another beautiful beach. And we seen something about the pools. And I'm like, look, there's these little water pools. And it was neat, the way the water would come up and fill these little rock pools. Okay, that wasn't even the pool.
Right.
They were neat because they had this moss and different color of stone, like bluish and purple. So it was beautiful. Then we look up, and there's this little section. It's kind of like a little bit of a jetty and a catty corners into the wall face of the cliff there at the coast. And there's people sitting over in it like it's a hot tub.
Right.
The water comes crashing up out of the ocean, fills it up. There was some kids there. They have like a little drainage so it doesn't overfill, but there was kids there playing with the overflow. Yeah, that was neat.
That was neat. That was, yeah.
So we did not, we didn't expect that.
Right.
So we actually walked down there on a hot day. So we kind of wished we had our swimsuits on. We would have probably went back and checked that out. But again, we had more things to go see.
Right. And you're hearing that theme a lot with our travel so far in Australia. We didn't expect that. So, I mean, it is amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. But we also thought, if we run into these areas, it just gives us more reason to maybe schedule it back into a rotation on another round. But we have so many places we want to go see.
Yeah.
So anyway, maybe you can come and visit and get some more information on some of these and share with us. At least we can check in with your all's videos and things like that. So after Eden, I think that brings us to Canberra.
Right. We were trying to transition back a little bit. So.
Yeah, I will say Canberra wasn't originally on our list. After Malakuta, I didn't realize we didn't exactly schedule some of the public transportation around our schedule. I just, so many days, we didn't want to get bored.
Right.
We didn't want to spend too much time in an area. We just want to go see. And so, but I realized I didn't coordinate some of it well with some of the public transportation. So to get to our destinations after this, we decided we'd stop in Canberra. And it
Right.
was a whirlwind of a day. But it ended up being one of the best destinations ever. We wish we
Right.
had more time. But it ends up, that is the capital area. There's,
For Australia.
yeah.
For Australia.
So we actually put together a plan. And again, AI helped us to put it in a walking order so we could figure out what was the best way we could get there, do it, and do it all in one afternoon.
Right.
Knowing a lot of the things that we wanted to see closed at 4 or 5 o'clock. So
And
literally,
you have to think Canberra is sort of like Washington, D.C. is in the United States. There's a lot to see and do
Whole lot.
in the U.S.
Yeah.
In D.C., which is impossible to do in one afternoon.
Yeah.
Just bottom line. So just
so we picked 4 things that were free, new to us. Parliament, National Capital Exchange, and a couple of the art gallery, the portrait gallery and the art gallery. They look pretty fabulous online when we've seen them. But again, AI was like, you can just cut across the park and you're there. Okay, we get there and it's like, that will be an hour plus walk. And I'm like, oh gosh, they close at 4 and 5.
Right.
So we're in a great area to pick up some Ubers. So we grabbed an Uber, hopped over to the National Capital Exchange and kind of started our day there. Found all kinds of new things that we got to see, learned so much about the history and how that town was developed and shaped and what it meant. We even have a video of Canberra where we included part of that there. It was a little interactive display. Absolutely one of my favorite things that we did there, just because I didn't understand what I was seeing when I was there.
Right. And then we went over, like you said, to one of the, not the museum, but the art galleries.
Yeah.
And a local that was there was, he knew that we only had a limited amount of time because he knew when it closed. And he
whips out a map and he goes, let me give you the 30-minute plan. But he goes, normally this is a whole day.
Right. So he showed us some of the highlights and, yes, it went very quick, and we wish we could have spent more time, but yeah. I mean, again, people are they really are so nice.
Yeah.
So nice.
So I will say, if you look at either the galleries that we have on our video for that, we just kind of flew through them.
Yeah.
Again, it was just to kind of give you a taste of what's there. And truly, you have to kind of be there and appreciate to enjoy it.
Right.
There is a shell-shaped metal structure there.
Right.
That's a piece of art outside. Apparently, the artist, they use some special way to put these holes into it. There's 52,000 holes in this structure. You can walk into it, and it's a water feature. And it's just, you have to experience it. And then you go inside and they have one supposedly like it's a $5 million piece made out of solid gold that's a replica of it.
Right.
So, wow.
That was really neat.
And normally I don't like abstract or modern art, but one of the security guards comes over and was talking to me and he says, check out this piece here. And he starts telling me all of the history. It was just pencils.
Right.
But he was like, the artist put 32,000 pencils that he painted into this drawing. I think 32,000. It was a lot.
It was a lot.
Took him several years to paint this. And so at first you're like, it's a picture of pencils. But when you learn the story,
when you learn the history of it,
all of a sudden I was like, wow.
You really appreciate it whenever.
It was. So, but obviously your favorite, because you love some of that history and law and things. We went over to the old Parliament and the new.
Right.
That building is amazing. It's got like this concave structure that it's like a grass roof built into the hillside. And of course you can see the Telstra Tower over on the far distance. That's kind of a tourist thing. It's really beautiful. But then you go in there and you get to see all the unique attributes they have to England,
Mm-hmm.
and then they have your red rooms and your green rooms, and
yeah, I mean, it really is neat just to
yeah.
see that, and it's free, which is even better for us.
They had a free
And
documentary too.
right,
We didn't even get time to see it because
right,
it was a really nice one. 50 minutes or something
yeah.
maybe.
And again, we were trying to see and do as much as we could in just an afternoon, but that was really neat.
Yeah.
And again, you can do the tour just as long, again, as they are not in session. So,
Well, and I know this video is getting a little long, so we'll try to wrap up here with our destination, which we are currently.
mm-hmm.
We did jump on a train ride. It went out to Mossville. That was a beautiful countryside train ride.
Mm-hmm.
We got to see a lot of kangaroos hopping along the way. Got to see a lot of different just climate areas and things. The unique thing on that was the day we were there. They've had a lot of forest fires here this year, but the heat has been historical.
Right.
So they had to slow the train down. And again, I didn't really understand it. I had to actually look it up on Google, but there's a thing with the rails will warp with the heat. So it took us a little longer to get out here, but we enjoyed the ride. It was really nice.
Right.
And we arrived at Fitzroy Falls.
Right. And if you're looking on a map, you can see that we're now out of Victoria State and now we're in New South Wales. So just to
Yeah, that's true. So we've crossed states.
We're moving up in the coastal area for that.
So yeah, we transferred from state of Victoria over to New South Wales. There's benefits to the public transportation on both.
Mm-hmm.
I will say we ran into a little bit of issue in Victoria that a lot of that still has to have a SMS texting or something like that, which we couldn't do. But we just went down to the station and they just printed us off tickets and we had it all done. So, but yeah, New South Wales, they do have a great planner that you can go through and check that out. So we really enjoyed being able to use that destination to destination. It'll be like you walk so many minutes here and there. But yeah, we get to Fitzroy Falls. Oh my gosh, it's quiet here. This is next to the Morton National Park.
Mm-hmm.
And we have ventured out just a little bit at a time. The first day here was extremely hot.
Right.
And one of the locals said, yeah, that's kind of typical. And then the next couple of days, actually
it's
cold.
Been cooler. It rained a little bit, which helped cool the temperatures off. So,
yeah.
And this area needed some rain. Plus, it made the waterfalls.
Yes. It worked to our favor because now we got some really great views of the waterfall. Hope you get to tune in and enjoy that video. I will say we're still new to this. Again, we brought some cameras, things with us, thinking maybe we'd film for our purposes. And then we're like, hey, this is a lot of where do we store it and stuff. So we're like, hey, let's just do a YouTube channel because also we got a lot of people at home like to see what we're doing. And we thought, hey, this might make a good memory thing for us. Mm-hmm. But, I guess one of the 101 for recording is it's not great to do mics and stand next to waterfalls and have a lot of wind. Anyway, we're working on it. Be patient with us.
Yeah. We're trying. So
at one point in time, I did used to work with some computers, so maybe we'll work through this.
Yeah.
But anyway, Fitzroy Falls.
Wow.
The rim views on this, it feels like going to the Grand Canyon.
It really does. It really does.
Which, we had the opportunity to do traveling last year, which we didn't document. We took that time for us. Just like we did in Melbourne, because, again, we wanted a little time for us, particularly after travel. Mm-hmm. Forested view areas, waterfalls, nice steep cliff sides. We've got to see some truly unique plants. I'm going to throw out there one of my favorites so far, this lyre bird.
It's on, there was a plaque saying what it was and a little bit about it. It's on the Australian 10-cent coin.
Yeah.
We got to see one.
Yeah.
It sort of freaked me out. I mean, really scared me a little bit, sort of surprised me. And it was like, oh, look.
It's neat that it was represented in that way, kind of like our eagle is on some of our coins and things. Mm-hmm. But I get it now. Like this bird, it has this thing like it looks small like a dove, and then it's got these feathers that come out kind of like a peacock thing.
Right.
It can flutter them like in an interesting way. So yes, I have a crazy amount of video on this because I just couldn't stop. So like, I hope I don't bore you with that if you watch that video, but if you like this kind of thing. But the most interesting thing is, it says on here, like this bird imitates anything.
Right.
Like they were like, it can imitate a chainsaw. And I'm like, really?
Yeah.
A chainsaw? But no, this thing, I got just a little bit. And if you listen to the clip real closely, and again, we were having a little bit of audio issue, but you can hear what sounds like 50 different sounds as it's running up and around. One of them even sounds to me like it's heard some kid playing a video game. It was like
maybe like
lasers.
Star Wars or something, you know. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've just never seen anything like that.
And if you've seen one or, you know, heard one, you know, leave a comment. I mean, it was truly,
So maybe this is common to the folks in Australia. To us, it was
pretty nice.
Was special.
It was nice to see.
And we've got to see some other wildlife that were fairly rare. To be honest, we couldn't get pictures of some of them. They moved pretty fast.
Right.
And unfortunately, but I guess it was still neat to see one. I kind of joked every time I let her lead, she finds all the good stuff.
Woo!
She found an eastern brown snake.
Yeah.
By its name, it doesn't sound bad. It's just a brown snake, but it happens to be like one of the most poisonous, and it's very typical in this area. They're not aggressive snakes though, so it was kind of neat to see it.
From a distance.
From a distance. So,
and the locals have been super duper nice.
Well, and that's what I was going to mention about
they warned us as we were coming in.
Yeah.
You know, to watch for snakes.
But it got in my head about having these snakes, so I was like, I need a walking stick. And so about the locals, okay, not once, not twice, I think 4 different times we'd pass and there would be a kid, hey, we need a stick too. And I was like, I should give this kid my stick, but you know, I was like, I need it for these snakes. But anyway,
and I don't know if the parents would have appreciated that or not. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe not. But anyway, it was kind of neat and funny. But anyway, we were having a good time, and families were. I don't think we scared anybody with snakes, but still.
But the falls have just been.
The falls were impressive.
Very impressive.
Well, so that really kind of wraps us up on our January time. Again, I know this is probably a long video already, particularly once we insert a few little clips of these, but hopefully you've enjoyed the update. And again, this maybe let us show a little bit of our video for Melbourne, because we did not make a video for Melbourne at all, and yet it is a wonderful location, particularly as a first destination if you're thinking about traveling yourself.
Right. So if you have been to any of these areas, you know, leave a comment below and just let us know.
Yeah, maybe things we need to come back and see.
Right. All right.
All right. Till next time.
Bye.